But I'm looking on social media and so many people are talking about the lights and just trying to kind of guess what they are.
Until next time, remember, keep one eye on the sky.
The universe around us is vast, and according to scientific research, we may not have uncovered the majority of it yet. According to studies and research, we have only explored around 4% of our universe, and the other 96% is a vast unknown filled with new particles, dark energy and dark matter, as well as numerous planets and maybe a different type of civilization that we have yet to encounter. This research has led to the development of the International Space Station, one of the most spectacular technologies ever invented in human history by leading scientists, researchers and engineers from 5 cooperating agencies around the world with the shared goal of researching space and its environment. This station's mission is to make discoveries and analyze data while investigating the solar system for intelligent civilizations. After decades of searching, scientists have finally discovered advanced extraterrestrial objects in the solar system. What exactly is this strange object, and how will this discovery impact everything on Earth? Join us as we investigate how scientists spotted advanced alien objects in the sky. Our cosmos has many planets, with many more still to be discovered. These planets have a variety of characteristics, and scientists intend to investigate each one at the same time. Scientists have increased their space research efforts in recent decades with the goal of discovering another civilization other than humans living on Earth. While reports of extraterrestrial sightings have circulated since the late 1940s, an estimated record reveals that over 9,000 reports of these unusual objects observed in the clouds have been made.
A strange sight in the sky last night over Oahu caught the attention of many people.
The reports rapidly drew worldwide notice and generated quite a stir. As a result, alien-like costumes were worn on Halloween, and the media reported on sightings of these civilizations. With technological advancements, Hollywood filmmakers and producers produced movies about aliens. As reports of these sightings grew at an alarming rate, the conception of an international space station became a possibility. When 5 space agencies joined forces to act as one, the idea for an international space station was born. This project has only one goal: to learn more about our solar system and to explore its vast expanses. The International Space Station was built and launched as a result of the collaboration of 5 space agencies, including the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, representing the United States, Roscosmos, representing Russia, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, the European Space Agency, and the Canadian Space Agency came together to build a space in microgravity research laboratory with many scientific research experiments in astronomy, meteorology, astrobiology, and physics. The space station is also recognized for testing spacecraft equipment and technologies that will be utilized on long-term journeys to the Moon and the exploration of planets such as Mars in the near future. Additionally, the ISS can be used to search for alien life or other anomalies in the cosmos. Since its inception, the International Space Station has conducted considerable research on these intelligent species, and after many years of effort, this research has finally begun to yield results. As expected, claims of contacts with UFOs have begun to spread, and the government and NASA are now attempting to keep this information from the public. The space station also sends live feeds back to Earth to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration for further research, correspondence between astronauts on the space station and engineers and scientists back on Earth, and verification of test results. All such live feeds are often circulated to the public by broadcasting them via media outlets such as radio and television stations to be watched. Among these live feeds are the memorable Apollo 11 missions of Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin's moon landing on the 21st of July 1969, which were broadcast throughout the world. Over time, we've continued to follow the International Space Station's technological breakthroughs and explorations via live feed throughout time, and along the line, we've discovered certain things that NASA is attempting to keep hidden from the general public. UFO believers believe this because they have witnessed similar activities via the International Space Station live feed. This live stream is provided by the satellite's camera in space and is available at all times for people on Earth to see how life outside our planet appears. NASA broadcast a live feed from the International Space Station's camera in 2015, providing a glimpse of space outside the ISS. However, the live stream was abruptly interrupted, which surprised viewers who were trying to figure out what was wrong with the space station's camera but were unable to recognize what disrupted the live feed. Before the stream was abruptly terminated, a weird object appeared to be moving over Earth's horizon. TOBY LUNDH, a UFO watcher and alien hunter, noticed this object. When the object arrived on the screen, the live stream was interrupted for more than 10 seconds until the camera turned back on. TOBY snapped the object and inspected it. After reviewing the image, he stated that the object resembled a Starfleet insignia from Star Trek and shared the image on the internet. However, this was not the only alien object observed in space. A few weeks later, a YouTuber named StreetCap1 reported a similar encounter, making it the second UFO sighting that month. The second sighting was also spotted via the International Space Station live feed, as UFO watchers increased their interest following TOBY's first sighting. They observed a dark object rise over the horizon, only for it to vanish. Viewers were still perplexed by this unexpected incident when they noticed NASA changed the live stream feed towards another camera installed in some other part of the space station. StreetCap1, the YouTuber who shared the video of this object, explained in the video that it was an alien object. He said on the video, "Please keep in mind that the moon appears white when the video shows the object appearing." On October 7th of that year, 2 astronauts from the International Space Station, Reed Wiseman and Alexander Gerst, were ready to do a spacewalk when UFO and alien researchers observed another odd object. When they analysed the clip, they realised that the weird object was not what they believed it was. The object shown in their footage could have been a lens flare from the sun or a particle of dust, but these explanations weren't convincing. Despite all of these sightings and hypotheses, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration has made no formal comments on these discoveries, although some experts believe the first encounter earlier that month was a technical error, which is why the camera was shut off. However, it was insufficient to explain the dark objects seen in the live feed, which did not satisfy alien researchers and ufologists. What is still a mystery to this day is why the National Aeronautics and Space Administration hasn't stepped out to disprove these allegations if they're false. Professor Andrew Ballow of the Imperial College London Department of Physics was interviewed about these alien reports. In an interview with Mail Online, he said, "Generally speaking, the UFO sightings can either be explained by some artifact effect, it could even be some space junk, and may be left unexplained as there is not enough evidence to back up the assumptions. It would be a very complex scenario to judge the content of the video in this instance, especially with the poor quality depicted in the video. But suppose NASA has access to high-quality images of the footage, in that case they may decide to investigate further if they wish." However, NASA or its authorities have yet to comment on the incident. The International Space Station's live feed and images have become an important source of proof for UFO believers. It became more than simply evidence, but also a basis for conspiracy theories about the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and what more the International Space Station might be hiding, though scientists are skeptical. Scientists have examined the situation numerous times and concluded that reports of UFO sightings are most likely the result of a psychological phenomenon known as pareidolia. Pareidolia is a condition in which the brain reacts by noticing significant objects in entirely random locations. The author of the UFO Investigation Manual, Nigel Watson, told Mail Online about pareidolia in relation to these UFO reports. He claimed that the great majority of these UFO images were as blurry and mysterious as those uploaded by UFO witnesses on Earth. Many of them have really basic explanations. He concluded that the more NASA denies or explains such occurrences, the more people believe there is a conspiracy to cover up the fact that aliens are visiting our planet. At this point, UFO enthusiasts have established other conspiracies that NASA is concealing a lot more from the public. These conspiracies revolve around the question of whether NASA is now in contact with an advanced civilization and is concealing this news from the public. NASA announced in early June that it will begin a study of unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, following numerous reports of UFO sightings in the previous year. and that this program would have a total budget of $100,000, with 8 to 12 experts working on the UAP independent study for close to a year. This program is aimed to primarily identify data that has already been gathered from NASA and other government agencies, with analysis methods that may expand scientific understanding of the UAP. But when asked about the story, NASA and the lead scientist for the research project, astrophysicist and Simons Foundation President David Spergel, declined to comment on NASA's plans or goals with the beginning of the UAP's program. Do you believe in aliens, and are these sightings credible? Please share your ideas in the comments section below. Consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed the video.